Hi guys, welcome back to another Airborne Aviation video, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to set up the 777 from its turnaround state. So I'm on the ground here in Amsterdam in the 777-300ER, and I'm just going to show you everything up to the engine start. So without further ado, let's get going. So first things first, in the cockpit we're going to want to turn on the secondary external power unit. So when you load up the long state in the PMTG, and by doing that you go over to the second FMC, go PMTG setup, load, and then clicking long and execute, it turns the secondary external power off like this, but has it available. I always like to keep that on because it's important for the plane to have two sources of power, because otherwise there's a load shed, which means the plane sheds electricity, sheds the load depending on the priorities. So some things won't be powered if there's only one source of electricity. So if we turn this off, for example, you'll see on the electronics page it says load shed here, because only the primary external power is supplying all the electrics, and it doesn't have enough power to supply everything else. So what we're going to do is we turn on the secondary external power, and it'll take a little while, but then the load shed should go. In the meantime, I like to turn off the recirculation packs up here, which are all the way up here, recirculation fans, because when in the long state they're normally on, but on the ground and using the air conditioning unit, we normally turn them off. Next thing we can do is we can turn on the ADIRU, or ADIRU, and that will allow us to set the position of the plane correctly. So go back to the external page here, you see the load shed that was originally here is no longer here because we've got two sources of electronical power. The only time that we would use one source of power is when we're using the APU and we're in the brief period between having disconnected the GPU and just about to start the engine. So that's the only time really when I like to have only one source of power. So next thing we can do is head down to the first FMC and start setting up. So if we head to FMC, and here is the position initiation page. So this just tells the flight management computer where we are in the world. So if we put Amsterdam to the reference airport, and then we copy that location and put it into the inertial position, and then that'll bring up the map and the PFD, or the primary flight display. You can put the gate in, but it's not a necessity. And going over to the route, what we can do, this here is setting up the basics of the route, so just our origin, destination, the runway, and then the flight number as well. We can request a route from here, and so I'm going to do that, and this basically means that the plane will automatically fill the route in, and you don't have to go through each one and put in each stage, which is really useful if you're on a long haul flight. Today we're going to be going from Amsterdam to Singapore, and we're going to request that. So now what this is doing now is it's downloading the flight plan, and it'll fill out all the pages for us, all the legs page and route page for us. So fill in the origin and the destination. So once this says, so now it's ready to load the route into the FMC, we can press load, and you get a message saying route 1 uplink is loading. So the company routes in the origin, the destination, and the runway. And you can check that on the legs page when it comes up. There it is. Arnhem is our first waypoint, but now it's time to enter the standard instrument departure, or SID. So for that we go into the departure and arrival page, and we hit departure, and today we're going to go off runway 24, and then we want an Arnhem departure, and we're going to be going off the Arnhem to Sierra departure, and I enter that here. and then we can activate the route, and then a magenta line will show that that route has been activated. And then what we can do is get the charts up and confirm that this is the correct standard instrument departure and everything's been put in correctly, which I know it has. So next thing is we can fill out the flight number. Today we're KLM, what do we, 742, let's just put that in, it doesn't have to be correct. And now here we do all the performance page. So we put in the 0 fuel weight today, which today we'll put to 10, and the reserves in as we'll put 5. So going over to the cruise altitude today, our cruise altitude is going to be 29,000 feet, so we've got flight level 290, and the cost index is going to be 150. These are all from the flight plan. Then we go over to the thrust page, and today we're going to be derating to 45 degrees, and that means we'll have 96.2% M1, and climb 1 will also be armed. For takeoff we're going to be going flaps 5, and the computer can calculate the centre of gravity for us. Now when it says V-speeds are unavailable, that is because when I need to have put too much fuel in it, so it doesn't like it. So I'll go FS sections, fuel. I'm not sure how much fuel we need. I'm going to put in about 70%. I haven't got a flight plan, I'm just showing you what we need. I'm just showing you how to set it up, so I've actually got a flight plan next to me. But 70% fuel should get us there, but we're just showing the first part of the flight, so we don't actually need that much fuel. So now it fills in the reference speeds of 171, 179 and 183, and we activate all those and we put the V2 speed of 183 into the MCP up here of 183. Now we can arm the flight directors, and I know the initial climb is 6,000 feet, and the heading is I believe it's 242 or 238. I think that's it. I can't remember, it's one of the two. I know it's 2 degrees off. I'll put in 238. Now we can set the barometric pressure, and so I'm just going to cheat and press B, and we know that it's 1000 is the QNH at the moment in Amsterdam. So this is all correct now, so the MCP set up, the FMC is ready to go. You normally put the right FMC, this one over here, on the legs page, and the pilot flying's FMC on the takeoff page. We can arm LNAV, arm VNAV, and we can also turn the seatbelts on. This stage we can also arm the emergency lights, and we can probably start the APU now as well. Of course, if you're online, you'd set a score code, but we're not today, I'm not on VATSIM, so I'm just going to put in 2000. You can also, going down to the right FMC again, we can go down and we can close the doors. Oh, whoops, wrong door. And then close all the cargo doors as well. And good. Then we go back to the legs page, and we can just check the overhead just to check that we've got everything. So we can turn the beacon light on now. What that does is that tells the ground crew that we're ready to start engines. However, that's not completely true because we need to disconnect the APU, so the GPU. So we have to check the status of the APU by going over to the stat page, looking at the APU, and we see it's just about to come online now. So we can disconnect the APU. Now this is the only time, as I was speaking about before, where we can turn off both, where we can only run off one electrical power unit. So now we're going to go over to the right FMC, menu, FS actions, ground connections, and we can set the parking brake. So we're going to remove the chocks. There we go. And go put that back on the next page. Now we should be ready to depart. I like to put the VOR's needles up because that just gives you a good indication of how far away you are, and it's a good reference point should anything happen and you need to quickly figure out where you are. Now, engine startup, we can put it on the engine page, and we can also now turn the fuel pumps on. I imagine we have some center fuel. Let me just check. By going over to the fuel page and the center pumps, yeah, we do. So those should be on, and that'll that orange light will go out when we've started the engines. You can also get rid of these messages here to clear the this page. So if anything more important comes up, it doesn't hide among all the other things that obviously aren't working, like the hydraulics, because we haven't pressurized them yet. So about this stage, have I disconnected the jetway? No, not yet. So we can disconnect the jetway. We can call GSX. Okay, so push back and departure. And we're going to be going nose to the right. Here we go, nose right, and we don't want to start the engines before pushback. Good to know we can pressurize the hydraulics by going 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and wait for these to pressurize, and then we can do the right hydraulic. Oops, that's me tapping my rudder pedals. So that's why the parking brake came off.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
You can also set the auto brake to RTO. So at this stage you'll be pressing push and start from ground, telling them you're ready.
Locking gear.
We'll also be telling the ground crew that we're ready to go once we have push and start clearance from air traffic control. It can be quite a complex aircraft, the 777, because it's got a lot of systems in it, but I hope this video will explain just a bare bones way of starting it up. So GSX is now saying that they're ready to go, we're ready to go, so we can release the parking brake.
All engines clear. Start that wheel.
We can put the engine page up, and then what we can do is we can flick the ignition switch, which is all the way up here, and flick the right one to start. And because it's an auto start, we can put the fuel in straight away, and it'll manage the fuel flow itself. In some aircraft like the 737, you've got to wait until 25% N2 before you can put in the fuel. But because it's an auto start, we can the plane manages the fuel itself. It's a very, very clever plane, the 777. It makes it as easy as possible for pilots, and it takes the load off the pilots basically, and it automates everything itself, and it's a really beautiful aircraft to fly. So when this gets up to about 16-17% M1, the starter will cut out. 17-18% good. So now that's the starter cut out, and so we can start the left engine. And again, because it's an auto start, we can just put the fuel in straight away. Using chase plane now for my views, which I really like. I think it's, for me anyway, it's slightly better than EasyNaut. It's got a really nice user interface, and so for me, I prefer it. Let me just check in. I'm getting a message at the door, so let me just check that they're all. I see the problem what I've done here. Oh well. So this door isn't armed L1. It's because of the sim, basically. Clicked it too many times, so I have to quickly open it, close it, and arm it. That should do it. Close it. Of course, in real life you don't have these problems. Oh, come on, open. Because it's all done by the cabin crew.
Unlocking gear.
Close. and I should come up with arm. Oh,
Tow
good.
truck disconnected.
Awesome.
Line
So
not
G6
removed.
is saying it there. V2 and then that message, and I just got that because it said doors auto / manual, which means some of the doors are automatic, are on automatic mode, and some are manual. And the difference between that is that in manual mode, the slides won't activate if you open the door, but if they're in auto, they will. So GS6 has pushed us back in a quite an odd position. But yes, so that is everything so far in this video. Everything's set up. I guess the next thing you could do is set the flaps to 5. I don't think like that. Of course, we want to put the
Left is
packs on
clear. Right is clear.
for some air conditioning. So the flaps to 5, and then we can put trim the aircraft to 6.25, and we do that by looking over here at the flight controls and seeing 6.25 trim up. And so I'm just doing this with my yoke because it's got a button assigned to it. 6.25 is set. And now we do a quick flight control check, so we just make sure that we're going full to the left, full right, good, full up, good, full down, good, and back to neutral. And then we do the same with the rudder pedals. So we're going full left, good, we're going full right, good, and back to neutral. So now we know that's all good, and now we're set up to taxi and take off. But we'll do that in a future video. Yes, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, please give me a like and a subscribe, and I'll be seeing you later. Take care.